Give us just a moment. Live from the AOC studios, deep in the heart of downtown Lafayette, Louisiana. It's fun. It's excitement. It's doing a show while there's baseball on TV. LSU and UL, as many of you undoubtedly know, are playing right now. We are watching the game as it happens. And again, the game is in progress as we speak. I'm sure there are a lot of you right now who are watching the game on ESPN and flipping back and forth between AOC and ESPN. And we are here with you as well. We, per ESPN and NCAA regulations, we cannot divulge what's going on during the game right now. I can't do play-by-play, but I will do the best that I can to conduct the show while we are watching the game. As you see, it is live, June the 6th of 2015. I am Ian Ozan. Happy that you are here with us tonight on 124 East Main. Again, UL at the bat right now. In what is now a bit of a pickle for the Cajuns. Once this half inning is over, we will then come back and devote full attention to the show. But again, like the rest of you, we are captivated right now by what is going on and by what is taking place. Ooh, we forgot, we left the lanyard on. No, I'm going to need this later on because I have to let in a special guest in just a few minutes. So, and the half inning is now over. So we will go ahead, we will turn the meta monitor back to AOC, and we will turn our attention back to you here in the studio. Good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ian Ozan. Happy that you are with us here on 124 East Main. Again, the Ragin' Cajuns and LSU playing right now. And that game, whoa, that's not what we were looking for. The Ragin' Cajuns and LSU playing right now on the worldwide leader. So if at some point later tonight, for those of you who are watching us, updates would be wonderful because, again, we cannot watch, we cannot listen because obviously there is a show going on and we don't want to take any more time away from our program tonight. Tonight, we are going to discuss bad sports fans and bad form for sports fans. We will also discuss a matter of differences, though it will that will tie in and segue nicely into the bad sports fan conversation. And as you see, there is a chair, or you may be able to see, there is a chair right here. Off to my left, off to your right, we will have a special guest joining us in just a few moments once he arrives here. It's someone who has not been on this show in almost 4 years. Tonight, he makes his triumphant return to 124 East Main, and hopefully he will be here in just a few minutes. All right, we get back to the show to the show at hand right now. Again, as you see here, June the 6th, 2015. We are live. We are in living color. The first time in 3 weeks that we've been here on the Acadiana Open Channel and 124 East Main. I am Ian Ozan. You may or may not know that, but if you do, thank you for tuning in again. If you are not, thank you for watching us if this is your first time. If you've tuned in before and have not caught us from the beginning, we thank you for watching us and we appreciate you tuning in. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get rid of some housekeeping items as we are wont to do at the top of every show. We've only got a few more weeks left in this Saturday night time slot. We will be moving to Tuesday nights, effective the 1st of July, when the new AOC schedule kicks in. Let's see what the calendar holds for us, because I do not remember how things shape up in the month of June and July. So let's go ahead and take a look at the calendar. We will be here. We expect to be here next week, the 13th, the week following, the 20th, and on the 27th. So counting tonight, we've got 4 shows left in this time slot. Tonight, next week, the week after, and the week after that. Then on, let's see, July the 6th, according to this, will be, or check that, July the 7th, because that's the Tuesday night. July the 7th we will move to Tuesday nights for the foreseeable future. We will be off on June the 30th, and we will be back, barring anything out of the normal, we will be here on July the 7th. Now, there is something that I need to check on that may keep us off the air for that first Tuesday, for July the 7th. That is traditionally the week that AOC broadcasts Festival International footage from the previous spring. And if AOC does run the footage from the Festival International de Louisiana, then we will be off on the 7th, obviously. Then our first Tuesday show will be on July the 14th. Regardless of when it will be, that will be the start, or that will be the 8th annual Hangover Special. That first show in July traditionally is the Hangover Special, and we will continue that trend this year, or we will continue that that tradition this year of doing the show with or without liquor. Next week will be the final show of Volume 7. This is our penultimate show, as Mark Allen Pope would say. This is our penultimate show of Volume 7. And Season 7 has just been very weird because we've really not been here all that much. This, along with Seasons 1 and 2, ranks as one of the years that we've done the show with fewer than, we may not have done 30 shows this year, just because of everything else that's popped up with hockey and life and other things that have happened that have kept us away from here. So year number 7 will, I don't want to say thankfully, but it will be out of the way, and we will be ready to begin a brand new year here on AOC. Volume 8, our 8th year here on the Open Channel, and what will amount to be, let's see. So let's see, years 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, we had 2 seasons. We did, let's see, no. So year 1, year 2, each were individual seasons because we only did 13-week runs there. In the case of year 1, we did a 15-week run. Year 3, we did, well, yeah, we did 2 seasons. No, we only did 1 season there because we came back. So 3 seasons. So starting with, no, let's see, because starting with Volume 3, we did do 2 seasons. We did summer, winter in Season 3. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We did 2 seasons. That's 10 seasons plus the other 2. So we will be entering our 13th season, our 8th year overall here on AOC, now that we've gotten the math squared away. So next week we will close out another season. We will close out what has been our 12th season here on AOC, close out what has been our 7th year here on the Acadian Open Channel, and we will begin year number 8, Volume 8. The count begins again. And again, I lost track of how many shows we've done this season. Quite frankly, I've lost count of how many shows we've done altogether. We've got to be nearing the 200 mark. We hit the 100 episode mark back in, if I remember right, year number 4. That would have been 2012. So we're definitely coming up on the 200 mark if we haven't surpassed it yet. We're going to do an official count. We'll do a celebratory show at some point. But long story short, we are, next week is the final week of the current year and the current season of 124 East Main. We've been doing this show for too damn long, quite frankly, and it'll be nice to move back to the evenings. And a lot of people will ask why we moved back to Saturday nights when we did. And it was because really we thought on Saturday nights we would get more of a response, people would watch, and after all, back when we did Saturday nights, during our first 2 years, people picked up on it. We had a following. We had a cult following, but a following nonetheless. And people called in. That has not been the case with 124 East Main here on AOC since we moved to Saturday nights. Part of that I think is because people expected us on Mondays. I underestimated the audience we had on Monday nights. But secondly, I also underestimated how much there is to do in Lafayette on Saturday nights. And once I realized some of my job obligations interfered with this, that's when I realized, geez, maybe Saturday wasn't the best option. We gave it a run. It was a good year back on the weekends, but time to go back to weeknights. We will be moving to Tuesday nights, which will be the first time we'll have entered that chartered territory. We did Saturdays for a year. We did Monday nights for very briefly in the first season, and then we did 4 years worth of Monday nights. We very briefly were on Sunday nights, and then this recent move to Saturdays after 4 years on the Monday night schedule. But Tuesday nights we'll be moving there, and we will try to do justice to what the Talkmeisters and Mark Allen Pope have done in that Tuesday night 9 o'clock slot for so many years. And it's still a bit odd to think that 124 E Main is going to be moving to the Talkmeisters time slot, and that we will attempt to fill the void that Mark Pope leaves when he walks away from his show after 20 years on the air. Mark will be doing a special 2-hour edition of the Talkmeisters on the 23rd of June. That is in 3 weeks from now. Mark will be doing a special 2-hour farewell edition of the show. Of course, he'll be on the air. Gorilla, his longtime director, will be there. I'm hoping Duke will be there. Duke, former director of the Meisters, he's still directing the Meisters. Duke, hopefully will be there. Duke, former director of this program for a long time. Hopefully he will be there as well. And who knows who else will show up for the final episode of the Talkmeisters. 20 years on the air, and we'll be going away, a bit of AOC history moving on. And Mark has been involved with the Open Channel now for 26 or more years. I think he's at 26. But it'll be sad to see an institution here at AOC move on. It'll be sad to see someone who has been so identified with this channel, with this station, moving on and walking away from a time slot he's held for so long. But again, we'll reminisce and we will discuss more of his history as we get closer to the 23rd of the month. And again, the 23rd, the final episode of Talkmeisters here on AOC. That's Tuesday night, 9 o'clock, or Tuesday night, 8 o'clock. That's Tuesday, June the 23rd, 8 o'clock here on AOC. And again, 2 weeks after that, on July the 7th, 124 East Main will take over that slot Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock. We'll see how well it goes. We'll see what happens there. And again, we've been doing this show now, entering our 8th year. And depending on what happens with Tuesday night, we'll see if the writing's on the wall there, and we'll see whether or not we will continue farther after that. But yeah, that's that. That's pretty much all the housekeeping we've had to do. Again, for those of you, now that we've gotten that out of the way, if you want to call in, phone number is right here, 366-8951. At the bottom of your screen, there we go, 366-8951. It is right there if you want to call in. And of course, tonight's topic, bad sports fans. And the reason we're going with bad sports fans this evening is the same reason why I was a bit distracted a little bit early on, why I'm still distracted right now. Top of the 8th inning, Ragin' Cajuns trail LSU 3-1, top of the 8th inning. Runner on base right now with 2 out in the 2nd inning. Let's see. Runners on 1st and 2nd now after a walk. Cajuns with the leading run at the plate. We're going to keep an eye on this and see what happens, and we'll update you as we get the updates. But in the spirit of the UL-LSU game, folks, I want to have this discussion with you. Me and you, honestly, candidly, I want to have this discussion with you. If you are a sports fan, I appreciate the fact that you're vocal and that you support your team. If you are a sports fan, I appreciate the vigor with which you cheer your team. If you are a sports fan, I appreciate the fact that you will stand up for your team through thick and thin, that you will wear their colors no matter what kind of hostile environment you will go into. I love the fact that you will back up your team regardless of what the situation is. What I do not appreciate about you, the sports fan, is the fact that you will use your fandom to belittle or berate another fan base. That you use your fandom as an excuse to shout obscenities at someone else, at belittling the other institution. That you use your fandom as an excuse to pelt opposing fans with beer or food or other refuse. What I do not appreciate about sports fans is the fact that they can use their fandom as an excuse to be obnoxious little pricks. Yes, I said it. I would use stronger language, but I have to remember we are a family show. The fact of the matter is that in the build-up to this LSU UL Super Regional, hold on, let's see, do we have a score update? Rain is starting to come down. Cajuns get a run in on an RBI double. 3-2. Cajuns are now down a run. And the rain may be coming down. Runner on third base now. This game is getting interesting. We may take a commercial break and watch the game. But I get back to my point. But what bothers me about this UL-LSU series is you have fans, not just from LSU, but also from UL, that have taken this rivalry, that have taken this series a little bit too far. You have taken your fandom a little bit too far. What do I mean? This is what I mean. I know the age-old argument about UL and the legal name and all that jazz. Look, folks, let's just leave it alone. Let's leave the name thing alone at this point. I know some of you LSU fans hate the fact that the university here in Lafayette likes to use the name, athletically anyway, Louisiana, or the University of Louisiana. I know you're getting your kicks and jollies by saying, oh, don't forget the at Lafayette part, but let's face it. This university is what it is, and if it weren't for a bunch of LSU supporters in the state legislature 31 years ago, this university would be the University of Louisiana. If it weren't for a technicality in people from LSU A&M Baton Rouge who were fighting to keep LSU's position as a flagship, that Lafayette's campus, that the campus here in town would have a little bit more standing, that it wouldn't have a hyphenated name or a regional name. We get it. Let's leave the name thing alone. Let's just leave it alone at this point. It's really not a valid argument, and it's really not an argument that needs to be thrown out when discussing these two universities. Academically, both have their strengths, both have their weaknesses, both of them have their attractions and their flaws and their drawbacks. All universities do. Just because one is the Louisiana State University and the other one technically is the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, it doesn't matter. They're both universities, both Division I, both play NCAA ball, albeit in different conferences, one a mid-major, the other one a powerhouse. We get that already. Let's leave that alone. But most importantly, what gets me is when certain people when certain people will call a TV station or a radio station and accuse an on-air personality of being pro-insert opposing team here because they dare make mention of them, or because they just, by happenstance, wear purple and or gold on the air. You know, folks, and UL fans, I hate to come down on you for this, but you know you do it too. For as much of the big brother syndrome that LSU has, UL fans have a Napoleonic complex as well. Believe it or not, not everyone who was in Lafayette, who was born in Lafayette, who lives in Lafayette, attended what is now the University of Louisiana at Lafayette. Not everybody who has lived here, who was born here, attended the former University of Southwestern Louisiana, or Southwestern Louisiana Institute, or if you want to hit the Wayback Machine even farther, the Southwest Louisiana Industrial Institute. Believe it or not, Lafayette, believe it or not, Cajuns fans, not everyone from Acadiana bleeds vermilion and white. Now, granted, there are a lot of us who are adopted Cajuns fans, who are from the area and moved back and adopted the team after coming back, or who are children of alumni of the university. In some cases, all of the above, or you may have a friend who plays. But also, the same token, remember, there are a lot of people in this area who also attended LSU. People who have a vested interest in the purple and gold because they are alumni or children of alumni, or they even know someone who plays for an LSU team. Just because someone cheers for the other squad does not make them the mortal enemy. Maybe if someone here cheered for the Atlanta Falcons, I could understand you jumping on their case. But in the realm of college sports, especially in a state like Louisiana, where you have, let's count them, UNO, Southeastern, LSU, Nichols, USL, McNeese, Northwestern, Northeastern, Louisiana Tech, Grambling, Southern, at least 11, assuming I didn't miss anybody playing Division I ball in Louisiana. You have 11 Division I teams in this state. Not everybody in a given area is bound to root for any of those teams. Oh, and we forgot Tulane, so 12. Not everybody is bound to root for just one team in a specific area. We want to go way back to KPEL back in the late 80s or early 90s. At one point, they ran USL, LSU, Tulane, and Louisiana Tech football. Different teams and different universities in this state have fan bases that are spread out all over the place. If the sports anchor goes on air and mentions that he or she is an LSU alumnus or alumna, what does it matter to you? Why should you call the TV station in a hissy fit and call that personality a traitor because he or she dare openly admit a fondness for someone you perceive to be a mortal enemy? UL fans are usually some of the first to complain about how crappy LSU fans can be. You know what, UL folks? Sometimes you can do the same thing as well. Sometimes you are guilty of the same charges and sports fan crimes that LSU fans have a reputation of committing. And LSU fans will be the first to admit, yes, they're guilty, especially when it comes to calling out Alabama. But you know what? At the end of the day, the majority of the fans from every sports fandom here in Louisiana, whether it's UL or LSU or anybody else, at the end of the day, they can have a drink together, they can be civil, and they can make life happy. And they can enjoy themselves over sports. That's all we ask. But the other question I have for sports fans, especially those who are so adamant about media and perceived support of different teams is, what are your vested interests in a team? Because I've found lately that a lot of Raging Cajun fans, a lot of LSU fans, more so LSU than UL, that are the most vocal, that are the most, how can I put it, that are the most adamant about LSU supremacy and LSU being this big bad school, are not alumni of LSU. That these folks either went to a different college in the state or they didn't go to college at all. It's fine to be a fan of a team, but for Christ's sake, if you have no vested interest in it, you need to pipe down. Maybe you need to take a step back. Maybe, just maybe, you need to realize that the university, whomever it may be to be grammatically correct, whomever those players are, they're not playing for you. They're playing for the students, for the alumni, and for the people who make the university tick. If your only contribution to a university's life or a university's history is buying a ticket and cheering for a team, you have no place to complain. Maybe if you graduated from that school, maybe, just maybe, if you spent some time studying on that campus, then I can understand being a little bit uptight. But if you're not a student, if you've never spent any time in an academic setting on a collegiate campus, you really have no business being a loudmouth sports fan and supporter of that school. It's one of the reasons why I enjoy Ivy League sports so much, why I enjoy UL's athletics much more than LSU, is because you have fan bases there that have been around the team forever, for a long time, that have stuck with the team through thick and thin. Granted, there are some bandwagon jumpers here and there. But you go to Lamson Park for a UL softball game. Yes, you have alumni. You have students. You have interested parties from across the community. But the tie that binds these people is that the majority of them have been there from day one at original Lady Cajun Park when Yvette Girard was the head coach, all the way to the present day with Lamson Park. These fans have been there. They've been packing that stadium in each of its incarnations since day one. Even before softball was a chic sport, people went and they watched. UL baseball, same thing. Such a loyal fan base. UL basketball, in recent years, a small but devoted following of fans. Not saying that LSU doesn't have that. They do. But there are also a ton of bandwagon jumpers that just ruin the experience for everyone else. You look at schools in the Ivy League, you may get 2,500, 3,000 people any given day at any given major sporting event, whether that's football, whether that's basketball, whatever the case is. But again, it's students, it's alumni, it's people who have a vested interest. And yes, while Princeton, Harvard, and Yale may have their rivalries, matter of fact, I was wearing a Harvard Sucks shirt the other day. While we do josh each other and give each other grief, the respect that the individual schools and communities in those schools have for each other overshadows any joshing or any playful banter that may come along. Lord knows we don't throw beer at Yaleys. (366-8951). Attendance tonight 11-179. Ninth inning, Cajuns' last at bat. It's 3-2. Forgive me for a second as I flash back and watch the game. Looks like LSU may be going to the bullpen. Waiting for Nicholas Aloysius Mayon, who was supposed to be our special guest tonight. He was supposed to be here with us, but he is not. The Cajuns rallying late, picking up 2 runs in the last couple of innings, and now have an opportunity to win this game. While we have an opportunity, and while we're waiting, let us see where Nicholas Aloysius Mayon might be. And the Cajuns have just tied it up with a Bryn Conrad home run. Holy crap. Nick Mayon's not answering. That's not healthy.
Hey, you've reached Nick. I'm not in right now, so leave a message and your number, and I'll get back to you. Bye.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Nick, it's Ian. We're waiting on you. Bye. We're waiting on Nicholas Aloysius Mayon to show up. As again, in the background you may see, you've got the LSU game on. Or UL LSU game, I should say. And the Cajuns have just tied it up. Bryn Conrad has done it yet again. And apparently there's a looking at footage now of Raging Cajun fans. Oh, that's after the home run. They're just singing the fight song. Pitching change right now. Again, Nick Mayon is supposed to be with us. We're not sure where in the world he is. 366-8951 is the phone number for those of you who want to get in. I wish Nick were here. I would like to talk to him about his kid, about what he's doing now, get him caught up with the rest of you. He was supposed to have been here by now. I don't know where he is. I'm not sure what happened to him or where he might be. But I wish he would get here so we could get this show back on track. What we'll do now is, since we're at the halfway point, we'll go ahead, we'll take a commercial break, and we'll be right back with more of 124 East Main. Stay with us.
They are words no woman ever wants to hear.
He said, "I'm sorry to tell you, but you have breast cancer."
I was speechless.
A diagnosis of breast cancer changes your life forever.
She told me I needed a mastectomy.
I was going to lose my breast.
I was scared.
Absolutely in shock.
But you need to know that you're not alone. There are teams of medical professionals, support groups, and therapists who are all there to help you get through your treatment, and those who can help you plan for life after cancer.
Consult with a plastic surgeon to learn more about your breast reconstruction options.
Breast reconstruction made me feel like me again.
Cancer took my breasts, but my plastic surgeon gave them back.
Before you undergo surgery for breast cancer, get the facts. Make sure you know your breast reconstruction options. For more information, visit broaddayusa.org.
Thank you, Joel, and everybody else. I'm at the point now where I'm debating whether or not we should just continue with this show or if we should just turn our attention to the ball game. I'm really at the point where I'm ready to just say, you know, maybe it's time to just maybe just watch the game and and say to hell with this show. So I guarantee you there's nobody out there watching right now and watching what we're doing. You know what we can do? Nah, I'm not going to prank call them. Let's try Nick Mayon one more time before we do anything else. Let's see if you'll answer this time.
Hey, you reached Nick.
And he's still not answered. All right, 366-8951 for those of you who are here on the show. WWE SmackDown coming to the Cage Dome on Tuesday night. That's where the other thing we wanted to discuss this evening. WWE SmackDown in the Cage Dome Tuesday night. I, of course, will be there with bells and whistles. Dean Ambrose, the new heavyweight champion, he will be there along with many others. Tickets still on sale, yada, yada, yada. You know how all of that works. I lost my train of thought. That thought was going somewhere, and I completely lost it. I don't remember where I was going with that. It'll come back to me later on. Maybe. Just maybe. You know what? To hell with it. Let's just watch the game and see where it's going right now. Cajuns are tied at 3. If the Cajuns come back and win this, it will be absolutely pandemonium in Baton Rouge. For those who are at this game right now, I just feel absolutely sorry for them, considering the fact that they've got to get through traffic later on tonight to get wherever they're going. There's a ground ball. That should be a routine play. It is. 2 out. Cajuns still tied at 3. The fact that the Cajuns came back from being down 3 to tie this game up is nothing short of spectacular. Triple Crown happened today as well. American Pharaoh, misspelling and all, became the first Triple Crown winner in 37 years. An amazing feat, isn't it? Let's see. Nah, let's not do that. Let's not do that. We might get somebody or ourselves in trouble if we do that. Apparently everybody else is watching this game and I'm the only Yahoo who's out here. If there's anybody out there watching, please let us know. Pitch, swing, ground ball, back to short, same place as that last play. And the inning over, Cajuns have tied the game and LSU's going to have to come back to bat. This game goes into extra innings. My word. The fact that the Cajuns once again, really? I can't even solicit for help at this point because everybody is at this baseball game. I cannot catch a break to save my life. Cannot. And of course, my co-host is supposed to be here with me tonight, is not here. I've got half a mind of doing the Bob Newhart, and I know I've joked about this before on the show, that when we've run out of material, when we've said what we've had to say, there are no phone calls, there are no interactions, just do the Bob Newhart. I think it was on his, I think it was back on the Bob Newhart show, his 1970 series, where he was filling in or guesting on a morning show, and his guest didn't show up, so he spent the entire hour, or however long the segment was, or show was, and just mugged the camera, hummed songs, and got through the show the best he could because he couldn't hold up. We are almost at that point here on 124 East Main because we've run out of material. We can't discuss much about the baseball game that's on TV right now because we don't want to violate any ESPN copyrights or get sent to court, because Lord knows they would do it in a heartbeat. I don't want to discuss state legislative session because we all know that has just been an absolute cluster. The session this year, especially with the budget, has been an absolute mess. Though with that said, this week, got to give credit to Fred Mills. Good job, sir. Good job. The medicinal marijuana bill has finally gone through. And I know a lot of people are talking about, well, why wasn't epilepsy covered? Why wasn't this covered? Why wasn't that? It's a foot in the door, folks. There's time to go back and revise it. State legislature, I don't want to discuss that. I really don't want to get into the Bruce Jenner thing, Caitlyn Jenner situation. You know, Jenner is 65, I think, now. And if the former Caitlyn Jenner, or the former Bruce Jenner, now Caitlyn Jenner, wants to live as a woman, if the former Bruce Jenner was really leading, or was really having an issue, and I don't doubt that he was, of feeling trapped inside the wrong body, and that he was a woman living inside a man's body, then let him live like he wants to live. Or let her, I guess now, live like she wants to live. The fact that so many people have blown this Caitlyn Jenner story up is absolutely mind-boggling and is amazing. I know the media is going to report on it, much to my chagrin as someone in the media. I know people are going, that the media is going to cover it because of who the person is. Bruce Jenner, 1976 decathlete, gold medalist in the Olympic Games. Wheaties box model. At one point was the image of the prototypical American male. More recently, the bumbling patriarch of the Kardashian clan. It's understandable why it got so much media play. Just because of who the subject of the story is. But the fact that people have taken it and run farther with it, by that I mean ESPN giving Caitlyn Jenner the Arthur Ashe Courage Award, the subsequent backlash from people who wanted the veteran who was on Dancing with the Stars, the amputee, I forget his name, who wanted him to, who felt he was robbed and erroneously thought he came in second in voting. We'll address that in a second. To those who think that Caitlyn Jenner is a freak, that there's something not right with the person. To those people I say, get a life. At the end of the day, there's only one person, and LSU just won. Apparently on a walk-off home run. We'll have to wait and see the replay. Somebody's on the field without a shirt. Cajun fans look stunned. Let's see. Yep, on a tee and bombed it. Game 2 tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. Ooh. You're not going to get a prettier swing than that. That's a terrible way for the game to end, but at least the Cajuns came back and made it a contest and forced it into the ninth inning. That was a batting practice pitch. A beautiful shot. And the Cajuns will have to live to fight another day. There's Kaylee Hartung. All right, that game's over. Let's put the meta monitor back on us. There we go. Now we're back to normal here. Going back to what I was saying. Give us just a second here. As Tom Martin says, that's a media walk-off. Deadlines equals achieved. Yes, there are a lot of people in media right now who are thankful, especially those that got 10 o'clock newscasts to do. Great way for that game to end, no matter who you are. It's a great finish. Back to our point on Caitlyn Jenner. The fact that people are so invested or have become so invested in the former Bruce Jenner's decision to live his life as a woman, to reassign his gender as a woman and become Caitlyn Jenner is, quite frankly, disturbing to me. First of all, it's his life. Well, I guess now technically it's her life. It's the decision that Jenner made. It's the decision that Jenner will have to live with. It is a decision that, regardless of how you or I or anybody else feels, is a decision that is made and that will have to be lived with for the rest of Jenner's life. The fact that people are berating the now Caitlyn Jenner for her decision is, again, mind-boggling, because when it's all said and done, we as people have bigger things to worry about. At the end of the day, we have to worry about ourselves. We have to worry about our own lives. We have to worry about whether or not we are paying the bills, whether or not we are living our lives to the fullest potential. But yet, for some reason, we in the United States feel that we are obligated to butt in on other people's lives and tell them if what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong. It's not my decision to say whether or not the former Bruce Jenner, now Caitlyn Jenner, made the right call. It's not my decision to say that Jenner is a freak, is someone who needs help. Because, quite frankly, that is something, transvesticism anyway, is something that is not exactly, what's the word that I'm looking for? Understood. As there are a lot of there are a lot of qualities of human nature and human sexuality that are misunderstood, that are not understood at all. This is one of them. Maybe Caitlyn Jenner will help other people figure out, or maybe even lead to scientific research into what causes a male to feel that he's a female trapped inside the wrong body, or a female feel that she is a male trapped inside the wrong body. Is it genetic? Is it a chemical imbalance? What is it? We don't know. But yet people try to use pseudoscience or even religion to explain away the situation. We can do better than that. And maybe this will be an instance or a wake-up call for biologists to begin looking into what makes people like Caitlyn Jenner tick. The most disappointing thing, though, is that people are using this as an opportunity to lambast the media for something that didn't happen. By that I mean the Arthur Ashe Award for the ESPYs. By now you know ESPN's giving Jenner this award that really means nothing, quite frankly. And I forget the veteran's name. He was on Dancing with the Stars. He's a double amputee. There was an erroneous report that said that he was passed over, that he was the runner-up. Folks, there is no runner-up. It's really an arbitrary decision as to who they give the award to. And if you didn't know, the ESPY Awards are a complete and utter waste of time. The ESPY Awards are there to fill a day of programming or a night of primetime programming on the Wednesday after the Major League Baseball All-Star Game. For those of you who don't know, that Wednesday, the day after the All-Star Game, is the only day of the calendar year in which none of the big four American professional sports leagues are in action. There's no baseball on that day, and basketball, football, and hockey are well out of season by then. Repeat, there are no sports on that one day in the year. So ESPN's got to find a way to fill airtime. And they made a decision to give the award to Bruce Jenner because they figured people would watch, and they figured it would allow them to do some self-congratulatory back-patting for looking like they're standing up for LGBTQ issues, which giving someone an award doesn't exactly make you a poster child for LGBTQ support. The long story out of all of this is, folks, regardless of what Bruce/Caitlyn Jenner decided to do, regardless of how Caitlyn Jenner may live her life now, regardless of anything that may come about in the future, only one person will have to live with those consequences. Only one person will have to live the life that she has chosen, and that is Caitlyn Jenner herself. And I think a lot of us need to understand, and a lot of people need to realize that at the end of the day, she doesn't give a hoot what any of us think, and that we should start looking at ourselves before we tell somebody how to live his or her life. Until we can clean our beds and until we can clean out our closets and get rid of all the skeletons that are living in them, let's leave Caitlyn Jenner alone to complete the rebuilding of her closet. 1:30 to go in the show. That'll do it for us. We'll be back here next week, same time, same place. I'm out of here. I'm going to look for Nick Mayotte. I'm starting to get worried. He was supposed to be here. He didn't show up. Wonder if his car broke down again. It might have. I don't know. Until we do meet again, I'm Ian Ozan reminding you, don't take life too seriously. You're not getting out alive anyway. Good night, everybody. Hold on, we screwed up the credit roll. We'll do it again.